Hey, welcome to another video about the best niches to start your AI agency with. So let's get started. First of all, fitness coach. Fitness coach is a good niche because unless maybe let's say lawyers, they don't get that much leads. They actually need to contact people because most of the time they don't get that much authority for them to actually get leads. Most of the time they actually need to actually cold call ads to actually get these clients. So I would put it in B tier because it is an overall good niches. Now, wait a second. So for that reason, I will put it in B tier. Now, real estate. Real estate is a good niche because you can get a good return on investment with them because maybe with selling one house, they could get maybe two or even 3x what they actually bought you in with your service. So I would put it in A tier because it is an overall good niches to work with because most of the time they get that much leads, and most of the time as well they get lots of house to sell to, whether it be to buy or sell a house. Construction is a good niche as well because I would focus more on like HVAC and roofing because construction they mostly get their leads from word of mouth. So I would put it maybe in D tier. And it's not the best. You could easily find some better ones. Lawyers, I would put it in, let's say, I think I would put it in C tier because it is a good niche, but overall, we can't actually run ads for them because most of the time, if they have some issue, they will for sure you won't by themselves. And running ads is literally like just I would put it in E tier honestly, because it is pretty much just a waste of time for them in their own ends. Pool builders. Pool builders is a good niche as well because they could get a little and a good return on investment working with you guys because you actually provide one pool and it could get up to 20 even 30K just for a quick service. So I would put it in A tier because it is a good niche to work with. You could get a good return on investment with them and the upfront capital to work with them. Most of the time they actually get money and they have money to put into ads because they need to get more kind of like jobs. So I would put it in A tier. So HVAC, back in those days it was a pretty good niches, but for nowadays it is getting pretty much saturated, and most of the time they actually know a guy maybe also partner with an agency or actually don't need to run ads at all because HVAC has a lot of people wanting service, which but if you actually get a clients working with the HVAC companies, you will get a good return on investment with working with them, and they pretty much all of them do good business. They don't like let's say detailing. They most of the time they know what to work on. So since it is getting pretty saturated, I would put it in C tier. Solar panels. Now this one is not saturated at all. Most people don't hear often about these kind of like ads about solar panels, guys. So I would put it in A tier because it is a good niche, not the best one. Like I said, I would not put it in S tier because S tier is more for like these kind of like top niches that people kind of like don't know about and that could print money. This one is a good niche, but it in terms of like return on investment, you could be better off working with pool builders. Dental practice. Now, this one is not the best, I would say, because most of the time they know their leads and they have their kind of like community of clients and they don't want to work with other people. And the second thing is, unless like let's say construction, most of the time a receptionist will actually call the lead because the less the service costs, most of the time there is going to be a receptionist because there's lots of calls, but the more expensive, like let's say roofing or construction, the owner actually pick up the call. So cold calling would be much more efficient by roofing or let's say HVAC. So with that, I would put it in E tier. It is not the best. You could definitely get some better ones. The owners actually need to get bunch and bunch of clients to do their service because most of the time they go maybe one or two times and they don't upsell on a service. So that is why they actually need to get clients, and by getting clients, most of them don't actually get word of mouth. Maybe their families and stuff, but there is so much med spas coming into this year because they know that there is a lot of potential return on investment doing it just by buying equipment and a clinic. So that is the reason why word of mouth isn't a thing anymore because there's a bunch of med spas. So I would put it in honestly B tier. The only thing is that most of the time they actually don't want to run ads. They are a small clinic and they're not that kind of like motivated to work with an agency because they don't actually see the value behind it. and they most of the time just do it by themselves because they don't have any clients and they want to put most of it into working and getting customers. E-commerce store is a good D. I would not suggest it because it is not a good niche in my opinion to work with, because first of all, the return on investment is not the best with them. Why? Clothing brand, e-commerce, dropshipping, most of the they know how to run ads. That is not the big reason. They know how to run ads. The reason they actually built an e-commerce store online is because they know how to get customers. So I wouldn't suggest doing it with them. Clothing brand should be in, let's say, B tier, because they actually, if it was for clothing brand, I would put it in B tier, but now for just e-commerce general, I would put it in D tier. Coaching, I would put it in D tier. And I would have actually, if I were to contact coaching businesses, I would have actually said, hey, I'm a growth operator and I would like to just book you more meetings, book you more sales calls and stuff, rather than just running ads, because they know how to. Most of the time, they actually train people to run ads. So you, by basically coaching them, is a big waste of time on your end, because they will most likely just take your question and reframe it back to you by saying, don't you know how to run ads? And they'll just basically sell you on a mentorship or courses. Detailing. Detailing is a great business as well. The only thing though is it is not in the winter. In the winter, most of the time they actually don't do detailing. And running ads for detailing car businesses isn't the best thing. I would suggest maybe doing some door-to-door sales. It is better off that way because you'll get much more experience by doing that than just running ads. And I don't see that much as often about detailing cars and stuff. Most of the time, they actually cold call or do door-to-door sales. Restaurants, F tier. Nobody ran ads for a restaurant. That is just a pure fact. They don't even care about your little AI and stuff. They just more care about their service and how they can actually fulfill, because they actually get the clientele. Now they just need to get more kind of like jobs and stuff. So restaurant is the biggest shit. Don't actually do it in this business model. You will much more likely just waste your entire time by try contact restaurant, and most of the time they won't even be the owner. So getting into that front end of the receptionist is gonna be some headache to do as well. So don't try to do it. Barber. Barber isn't a good niche to run ads to, but I would suggest maybe selling them a receptionist and a receptionist. So I would put it in C tier. It is not the best one, not the worst one. You could definitely make some potential return on investment with them by installing an AI receptionist, but I wouldn't suggest you doing ads with it, because like restaurant and detailing, they won't be the one to run ads for their businesses because their leads come from organic, word of mouth kind of choices. So roofing, I would put it in S tier. Why? They always need new roof. They need to get more customers. Most of the time, they're a big team of maybe 2 to 3 employees, and they need more roof. They are always available to do more. And the biggest thing with them is that I started with the med spas, and then I started cold calling roofing companies because I saw the potential in it. They need more roof. They don't know why. They don't know where. And you basically just cold call them and say that you're a commission based worker with your agency, and you just pitch them an AI service by running ads with them for, let's say, 3 to 5K, and they'll easily say yes because the return on investment is crazy working with them. So that's pretty much it. Last one is local businesses. You're maybe local shopper, local real estate investor, or maybe your local roofing companies. Or those niche are the best one because you actually get some one-on-one contact with it, and you basically cold call them by saying, "Hey, I'm basically from around here, and I saw your businesses, and I saw that we could maybe help you by installing an AI receptionist or maybe getting you more customers. And then if you would like, I could be basically just go in your door and basically we could chat in there, getting a one-on-one approach from where they'll be more attracted to your offer, because it is going to be more serious than just calling them and booking them in a meeting. And you could always do door to door when trying to sell an AI or running ads, if you want to actually put the work in and actually start by getting those customers. So as always, thank you guys for listening to that video, and I'll see you on the next one. This was the 15 niches to start your AI agency with. So I would suggest working with real estate, roofing companies, local businesses, pool builders, and solar panels. As always, thank you guys for listening to that video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.